कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते जयपताक स्वामिनिति नामिने नमाचार्य पदाय निताय कृपा प्रदायिने गौरकथा धामदाय नगर ग्रामतारिणे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Reading from Vaisnava K. What kind of devotee are you? A Bengali poem by His Divine Grace Sri Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. The verse translation and extensive quotes from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and commentary by His Holiness Srila Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Reading from text 1. दुष्टमन्तमी किशोर वैष्णव प्रतिष्ठार तले निर्जनर घरे तब हरि नाम केवल কৈতব. Translation. My dear mind, what kind of a Vaishnava are you? Simply for false prestige and a material reputation, you sit in a solitary place and pretend to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but this is all cheating. So here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is giving us these teachings as we were discussing in the introductory class to this Vaishnava K, that this is something that Vaishnava K, these verses, they are like, it's actually supposed to be strung into, all of these verses are like pearls, and we should string them around, with the thread of devotion. The thread is that of devotion and of faith, of Shraddha. So bhakti and Shraddha, with that thread, we should string these 19 verses from Vaishnava K, these pearl-like verses, and we should wear it around our neck at all times. Because these verses, they help us not to deviate. Because it's always important for us to be always checked, we should always have like a checking system. Are we doing the right thing? Are we heading in the right path? Are we, going in the right direction? So these are things that we should always and constantly think about, So these verses give us those directions. They give us the right kind of pointers where we can find out whether we are going in the right direction or not. So, Guru Maharaj, in his commentary, he actually, if you read the purport that Guru Maharaj has written, he has quoted extensively from Srila Prabhupada, and Guru Maharaj mentions that Srila Prabhupada in his Bhagavatam purports, in his Chaitanya Charitamrita purport, Srila Prabhupada has very often quoted from this Vaishnava K verses. In fact, the very first page has a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 4th Canto, chapter 28, text 33, where Srila Prabhupada quotes Vaishnava K, this particular verse. And very, very cutely Prabhupada writes that when disciples are grown up and are able to preach, the spiritual master should retire and sit down in a solitary place to write and execute Nirjana Bhajan. Nirjana Bhajan means Nirjan. Jana means people, and Nir means no. not. Okay, so nirjana means no people. So and sangha means, or sankirtana or samyak kirtana means that congregational chanting. But nirjana means secluded, that only yourself and nobody else. So nirjana bhajana means that we are sitting down only, and this is given here by Prabhupada, how he writes that when disciples are grown up, when the children, how just like the way Srila Prabhupada is writing it, as if, like just like how parents take retirement once the children are nicely settled in. So similar is the mood that Prabhupada is writing here, that he's saying that when disciples are grown up and are able to preach on their own, the spiritual master should retire and sit down in a solitary place to write and execute Nirjan Bhajan. But again, Srila Prabhupada writes that the neophyte devotees are definitely not recommended to do Nirjan Bhajan. And then later on, Srila Prabhupada also writes that Nirjan Bhajan is also not recommended completely in Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, the process of chanting the holy names, the process of perfecting our spiritual lives is through the congregational chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. So we cannot at any point of time give up the sangha of the devotees, because that is our only saving grace. Just like we were discussing in our class on Tuesday, that when we are having our Bhakti Lata Bij, which is the seed of devotion, when it is planted in our heart, then it starts growing into a small little sapling. That little Bhakti Lata Bij starts fructifying, and it comes into a small little creeper. And it's very tender, very delicate. So we should be very careful that different anarthas, different kinds of aparadhas, different kinds of Vaisnava aparadha, different kinds of nama aparadha, different kinds of dhama aparadha, so many different kinds of offenses that we are prone to, we should be able to protect our very, very tender Bhakti Lata Bij. And the way we can protect our Bhakti Lata Bij is by the fence that we put around it to protect our tender devotional creeper. And that fence is considered to be the association of devotees. So the association of devotees is something, it is actually the astra, it is the weapon with which Mahaprabhu came. In every incarnation, Krishna comes, that Krishna has a particular weapon that he always carries. Lord Parashuram came, he had the axe. Lord Ramachandra came, he had the bow and arrow. Lord Balaram, he came, he has the plow. So like this, each and every avatar of Krishna, each and every incarnation, Krishna comes, he comes with a weapon. Krishna himself carries his most celebrated Sudarshan Chakra. So Krishna always has a weapon. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, Krishna himself, taking on the mood of his most beloved Mahabhav Swarupini Srimati Radha Thakurani, taking on her divine mood, Krishna comes as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the weapon that Mahaprabhu is carrying? It is nothing but Sangha Panga Stra Parshadam. His astra is his Parshada. Sangha and Upanga are his astra. The Sangha of devotees, the association of devotees, is what Mahaprabhu has brought with him as the weapon that can counteract the ill effects of Kali Yuga. That is our only saving grace. So therefore, this question is kind of very, very appropriately asked, that what kind of a devotee are you? Guru Maharaj writes in the purport that Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is asking his mind in this particular verse, this first verse, that what kind of a Vaishnava are you? are you a devotee at all? So Guru Maharaj is saying, why does he ask this kind of a question? It is actually for our own benefit, to teach us how to purify the mind, to locate the impurities in the mind and to take care of them, to eradicate them completely. That is the reason why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is asking this question. So this is the secret of how we can actually win the eternal service to Lord Krishna, Guru Maharaj is writing. He's saying that we cannot win Krishna simply by offering him gifts. We cannot allure Krishna. We cannot buy Krishna with any gifts because everything belongs to him. Krishna cannot be won even by performing great service because all energy and ability stems from Krishna. But what can we actually offer to him? It is all that we can offer to him is our activities, it is our pure devotional mentality that we can offer to Krishna. You see, when Srila Prabhupada named our society, I repeat this all the time because it comes up time and again. Srila Prabhupada could have named our organization International Society for Krishna Activities. But Srila Prabhupada chose to name our society International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So it is not so much about what kind of activities we are doing, but rather in what mood are we doing those activities. We may be doing big aarti, standing during the Sunday feast, we are on the altar, and, we have a crowd of 1,000 people who are watching us on the altar. So at that time, are we thinking that, oh, see, everybody is taking my darshan. They are seeing how great a devotee I am, that I am doing this aarti to the Lord. If that is our mentality, then is Krishna accepting such a mentality? Is Krishna accepting such a service? Very doubtful. But rather, if we are thinking that we may be actually sitting in one of the, corners of the kitchen and washing some pots, not being noticed by anybody, but if we are having a grateful heart, and while doing that service of washing the pot in the kitchen, if we are thinking that by this service, Krishna, I am trying to wash the dirtiness that is there in my heart, the dirtiness that is there in my mind, so that Krishna, it will become clean for you to come and sit with your divinely beautiful consort Srimati Radharani. Please come and make your residence in the region of my heart, O Krishna. So which one is better situation? We may be doing aarti in front of thousands of people, but if in our mood we are also being grateful and humble at that time, that it is only by the mercy of Guru that I am able to do this service. Thank you, Krishna, for allowing me to be in your audience and offer aarti on my Guru Maharaj's behalf to you. If that is the mood, then Krishna accepts it. So Krishna, Guru Maharaj writes that he is known as Bhava Grahi Janardhana, the Lord who accepts the devotional attitude of his devotees. So it is very, very, very important for us to always put a check on our mind that when we are doing what we are doing, any activity that we are doing, what is the purpose that we are doing this activity? Are we doing it for name, fame, profit, adoration, distinction? Or are we doing it as a sacrifice to please our spiritual master? Why are we doing what we are doing? That is something very, very important. And that is why these Vaisnava cave verses are very, very important in our lives. So this is how we try to always, when we are doing a particular activity, we may be doing the activity of cooking, as simple as something as cooking. We are cooking every day, the ladies especially, we are cooking every day. Even Prabhus sometimes do cook every day. So, whenever we're doing something as simple as cooking, are we cooking so that we get glorified for our cooking? Or are we cooking so that we can give an offering of love to Krishna? What is the mood? What is the mentality that we are putting in when we are rendering any particular activity? That is what we need to always be mindful of. And when we are being mindful of such things, then Krishna becomes eternally bound to us. Because we are trying to please Krishna by every activity that we are performing through our mind, intelligence, and our body. Kai, mana, vakya. By our kai means our body, mana means our mind, and vakya means through our speech. So through our kai, mana, and vakya, we are trying to glorify Guru and Krishna. So the association of devotees, what is said here in the first verse is that, Dushta mon, tumi kishar Vaishnava. What kind of a devotee are you, my dear mind? That my dear flickering mind, you are just dushta, you're very, very naughty. You are very, very wicked. Guru Maharaj actually translates dushta as wicked. My dear mind, you're so wicked. What kind of a Vaishnava are you? Pratishthartare. Pratishtha means to get fame, name and fame. Nirjanara ghare. You are sitting, and doing all kinds of tapasya. You're saying that you want to do Purushottam Mas Vrata. You're doing Damodar Month Vrata. But what? You're doing it the thing of saying that, oh, look at me. I'm such a great person. I'm doing all these vratas. Every Ekadashi, Nirjal. Every this, that. So, what is the purpose of saying like this? Sometimes devotees, they fall into the mentality that sometimes they feel that, oh, if I tell too much, then it will show my pride. But at the same time, you don't go around telling the whole world, but at least to some senior devotees, because you're telling it in the mood of seeking their blessings. So you tell what you are doing, what kind of austerities you are doing, and also whether those austerities are bona fide. Sometimes we try to concoct our own way of doing things. Like say, for example, if someone wants to do Kartik Mas Vrata, they say that, oh, I will take only milk and fruits through the entire month. That is my Vrata. But that is totally mental concoction. That is not recommended anywhere in the scriptures. There are levels of fasting that we should take care of. And then there are, the last 5 days of Bhishma Panchaka, even over there are levels of fasting that are being described. So we must be careful that we, in our over-enthusiasm or in the feeling that we are doing so much of, austerities for pleasing Guru and Krishna, we fall under the trap of Maya that we start manufacturing our own fasting ideas. And that is not proper. We should try to stick to what is recommended in the scriptures. Follow that. And that is why we need the association of devotees, the association of some senior devotees who can guide us that yes, how you can do the vrata, what all you can do during the vrata. And then before we start the vrata, we seek their blessings that this is how we are doing it. Please bless us so we can complete it very nicely. And I'm very, very happy that, so many of you, I know Keshavi, Venkatapati Prabhu, I know Vinaya, all of you have done such amazing vrata during Purushottam Mas and, doing, and it was so, beautifully done by each and every one of you. And it was so pleasing to Guru and Krishna, I can assure you of that. So we should not feel that, it is bad to tell to everybody. No, it's not bad to tell. It is bad to tell everybody in the world, but there are a few devotees who need to know so that you can get their blessings, so that you can do your vratas properly. So, and also the mood with which we are telling, that is a self-check system, that we should be also telling it in the mood that not expecting that, they will say, oh, you're so nice. And even if they say that you are not so nice, then you don't feel bad about it. Things like that. So we should be very, very careful that how we are training our mind, that we are not being driven to do a particular activity because we want name, fame. Pratishthartare. We should not be driven by that. We should be only driven by what will be pleasing to Guru and Krishna. That is what we should be. That should be our motivation. What is going to please my Guru Maharaj? What is going to really make him happy? I want to do that. So, and that is why Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati is saying that Tava Harinam Kevala Koitab. Koitab means it's cheating. It's very strong. These verses actually, they are very, very strong. They attack directly on our ego. It's a direct hit. But that's why these verses, Vaisnava K is not for a neophyte person. It is for someone who wants to make serious spiritual advancement. And that is why we are in this Sangha, so that we can enlighten each other. I can become enlightened by your association. So when we are in each other's association like this, then the meaning of these verses, the purport of these verses can really enter, they can really seep through our, layers and layers of false ego that we have. It can help in purifying all our anarthas if we can do it in the right way. That is the glory of devotee association. So nirjan bhajan and, doing things driven by or being motivated by pratishtha, by being motivated by name and fame, these are things that we should definitely try to consciously avoid. And before we do certain things, always check, why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I doing it? Is it going to help in increasing the name and fame of my Guru Maharaj? Then I will do it. I don't care if my reputation goes. But let my Guru Maharaj's name and fame be always intact. That is the mood of a disciple. A disciple is always meditating, like how we sing for Prabhupada's Guru Puja every day in the morning. We sing, Ebe Jasa Ghushuk Tribhuvana, may your fame be broadcast all over the three worlds, Tribhuvana. Let your fame be broadcast all over the three worlds. That is the mood of a disciple. So when we are in that particular mood, then there is no danger for us to succumb to all these lower anarthas. And that is why the association of devotees is so important. So that is the main purport in this particular verse, the first verse that we read. And Guru Maharaj is very much stressing in this particular purport and the commentary that he has given the importance of devotee association. And, in this context, we were also discussing on Tuesday that how Lord Brahma, he becomes confused every single day. The confusion comes in his mind every single day of his life, that whether this is, whether Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead or not. This confusion comes to him every day. Why? Because Lord Brahma has no association, no Sangha. That's why there is nobody to control his mind. His mind always gets deviated. Then we gave the example of Bharat Maharaj. That Bharat Maharaj was doing Nirjan Bhajan. He left his, entire, kingdom. He left his family, he left his wives, his sons, he left everybody, his kingly duties, and he went into the forest in seclusion. He built a small hut, and he would sit there and he would just do bhajan, nirjan bhajan. And what was the result of that? That from the stage of bhava, bhava is the pre-epitome stage of prema, the final stage of bhakti. So Bharat Maharaj was at that stage of bhava, and then he became attracted to this baby deer. This baby deer, Bharat Maharaj, it is said that he would sit in meditation by closing his eyes. So this Bharat Maharaj, when this baby deer came under his protection, Bharat Maharaj started, opening his eyes, and he would meditate, so that he would keep an eye on this baby deer so it doesn't wander away. And this, whenever he would sit for meditation, this baby deer would come very cutely, nudge at him and tell him, oh, play with me, like he would signal and gesture. All this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, that how this baby deer would entice Bharat Maharaj to come and play with it. So cute gestures this baby deer would do, and Bharat Maharaj would forget doing anything, and then he would just go and run around with this baby deer, and he became so attracted, so attached to this baby deer that at his final deathbed, he was thinking that now I am dying. Who is going to take care of this baby deer? Who is going to take care of this baby deer? And what was the result of that? Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti konteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. That whatever is one's state of consciousness at the time of death, that state he will attain at his next birth. So Bharat Maharaj, because he was thinking about that baby deer, he took birth in his next life as a deer. But he was a Jatismara. A Jatismara means he was able to remember his past life. So even as a deer, he was roaming around in the forest, but Bharat Maharaj would actually, as the deer, he would now come into the association of devotees. He would associate with sadhus, he would try to listen to Krishna Katha, and then the next life he came back as Jada Bharat. And then he perfected his life and he went back home, back to Godhead. So we can see that what is the importance of devotee association in our lives, that it helps us in always keeping ourselves properly protected. And so the main things that we get from this particular verse is that nirjan bhajan, or trying to chant by ourselves and trying to just stay by ourselves and trying to do devotional service is not something that is good for us. We should always try to seek some kind of association or the other. And that association can be in the form of Srila Prabhupada's books, it can be through these kind of conference calls, it can be through the physical association of devotees. So all of this combined forms the association of devotees. And also the second point that we learn from this particular verse is that whenever we do whatever activity, try to take a step back and think that why am I doing this particular activity? What is my mood in which I am doing this particular activity? So when we try to ask this question to our mind, that my dear mind, you're about to go into the altar, and dress the deities. What is your mood at this time? What kind of a devotee are you? Are you trying to go and dress the deities with the mood that after you finish, that everyone will come and say, oh, so beautiful, only you are the best? Not that the Lord is looking nice, but they will glorify you. If that is your mood, then you are not in the proper state of mind to do service that is pleasing to Guru and Krishna. So like this, if we can always, at all points of our life, before doing any kind of seva, any kind of devotional service, we should check our mental condition. what is our mental condition. And we should do the seva only with this attitude, with the mentality that it is an offering of love to my spiritual master. It is a humble offering of love to my spiritual master so that his glories will increase in all of the three worlds. And that is the perfection of rendering services. So with this, we will end here. If there's any questions, comments, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Patit Pavan Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Anybody has any questions, please ask to Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada Srila Guru Maharaj ki jai. Very nice class, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Kamal Gopika Mataji.
Just as you mentioned right now, even the Bharat Maharaj, he was such a senior and exalted devotee, but still he could get diverted by the fear. So what about us, Mataji? We are nothing. We are such especially if I talk about me, such a fallen soul. So get tempted surrounding so many, material gratification. So how to check and how to control some practical point.
Yes, Mataji. That is why we actually have the association of devotees. That is what I was stressing on. That, when we are having such allurements, that is why we have proper Vaisnava relationships, so that we can reveal our mind in confidence to some devotee, whom we have faith in, that, मेरा ऐसा अटैचमेंट हो रहा है या मैं ऐसे कुछ हो रहा है तो प्लीज आप मेरी हेल्प करें. When we have such kind of relationships, then that sometimes definitely helps. And when we are when we, of course, there is so much of allurements in this world today. You're very right about it. But at the same time, it is not that by overnight, listening to just, a few things that overnight we will see a change. It needs a lot of, at least these, by hearing such things over and over again, it makes impact, in our mind. And so at least when we repeatedly hear such things, then, one day it becomes like a normal thing for us to be careful when we are under such allurements, Just like, even in our childhood, there are so many things that we were forced to do, which we did not like to do. But our parents forced us to do certain things. We'd never like to eat, green leafy vegetables, but our parents forced us to eat. Or we don't like to go to school even, but our parents would force us to go to school. So these are some things that when we are forced and when it is repeated to us over and over again, then over time, by practicing it, then one day it becomes normal. Then we start telling our children that now, yes, you should go to school or you should eat green leafy vegetables. But if we look back 40 years before, our parents told us the same thing because we were in the position of our children today, So, but that has come because we have been repeatedly told by our parents. So that is why these kind of association where we hear such things over and over and over again, then we realize it. One day we realize it. That is why, even one time Srila Prabhupada was asked this question that, Prabhupada, at every class, Prabhupada would keep saying, you're not this body, you're spirit, soul. You're not this body, you're spirit, soul. So one day one of the disciples asked Srila Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, okay, we get it. We are not this body, we are spirit, soul. What next? The Prabhupada said, there's nothing next. If you have got it, then try to act on that platform. That you are not this body, your spirit, soul. Then that is perfection. Then that is how you actually get it. That was what Srila Prabhupada said. So all of this comes by repetitive hearing and by trying to implement it as much as we can in our lives. So for that, we need the association of devotees who are already practicing such things in their lives. When we associate with such devotees, then it is easy for us to replicate that in our own lives. Again, it's not an overnight process, but it does take practice. So does that help, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji, thanks a lot. So again, after hearing you're saying, so right now what I'm facing, exception means in all your WhatsApp message or group or, means YouTube and all those, these are flooded with all various kind of different speakers and everybody is so good. So it's a question now to whom you hear or to whom you live. And sometimes you are lost kind of, not having any tracking, Sometimes you are hearing someone and sometimes you are hearing the other one. So that's a problem of me right now. So Mataji, can you say something about it?
Matlab, you're saying, I just want to get this question right, that you're saying that you're listening to different devotees?
Yeah, different devotees आ रहे हैं, different Guru Maharaj आ रहे हैं, morning recorded lecture है, evening recorded lecture है, afternoon है, या फिर YouTube में आ गया, ISKCON Desire free से आ गया, तो आप मतलब का ट्रैक तो मतलब लूज हो जाता है ना, मतलब किसको सुने किसको छोड़े ना, क्या करें, everything looks so tentative ना, but you have limited time to hear. So again question arises ना, so sometime I have to tell myself नहीं अब मेरे को यही सुनना है, फिर वो कुछ और आ जाता है, फिर वो थोड़ा सा सुना, फिर वो बीच में फिर वो डिस्टर्ब हो जाता है ना. How to discipline myself na, about it.
Okay. Well, that is definitely a challenge because, who to listen to and who to not listen to. But there are certain people that, that we should try to listen to at least every day, And wo agar ho jaye, then if there's anything extra, then we can try to do something extra. But there are certain things that, like listening to lectures from Guru Maharaj, it's something very, very important for us to do every day, to listen to Guru Vakya. Shri Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. We should listen to the voice of our Gurus every single day. That's very, very important. So at least listening to our Guru every day is one thing minimum. So that cannot be compromised, whatever the situation may be. And then after that, if you have any more time, then you can listen to any other speaker that you are, inclined towards. You are definitely free to, listen to anybody else. But you should have, one or two priorities in your daily schedule, that come what may, that you will listen to them. So when you have like that, and then whatever extra time you have, if you want to listen to anybody else, that's perfectly fine too. But you have to have, Guru Vakya at least once a day. It's important. Does that
Prabhupada, because now there is a Prabhupada Vani also, so means you should listen to Prabhupada lecture every day?
Well, Srila Prabhupada's lectures, if you can try to listen to one every day, what I personally do is that I listen to, both my Guru Maharaj's lectures, both their lectures I try to listen to every day. And, I try to listen to Prabhupada's Kirtan rather than listening to any Prabhupada's lectures, but maybe once a while, if I have time, then I do listen to Prabhupada's lectures. And after I have time, after listening to these three, then if I have time, then I go to any other speaker. Otherwise, I don't even go there, That's what I personally do.
That makes sense. Okay, I will try to follow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Patience.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Very wonderful class, Mataji. I want to know exact meaning of Sadhu Sangha. What is meaning of Sadhu Sangha?
Exact meaning of Sadhu Sangha. Sangha means where we can have 6 kinds of reciprocation. That is mentioned. Davati Pratigrinnati, Guhyam akhyati pritchati bhunkte bhojayate chaiva shadvidha priti lakshanam. That with sadhus, with devotees, with like-minded devotees, we should have these 6 kinds of reciprocation. Dadati pratiginnati, giving and accepting gifts in charity. Dadati pratiginnati, guhyam akhyati pritchati. Guhyam akhyati pritchati means that when we can reveal our mind in confidence to some devotees. Then bhunkte bhojayate chaiva means that we give in charity of food, we accept food, and these are the 6 kinds of reciprocation amongst devotees. So that is sangha. Not that is, you can't say, oh, I'm doing sadhu sangha and we're going to movie together, that is sadhu sangha. No, that's not sadhu sangha. But when the result of sadhu sangha is what? Matchitta madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter that what is the result of sadhu sangha? That you will become blissful, tushyanti cha ramanti cha. That my devotees derive great satisfaction and bliss by always conversing with one another and enlightening each other about me. They converse about me. That is, the focal point in Sadhu Sangha is that we are discussing topics related to Krishna and his devotees. That is Sadhu Sangha. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Mataji. Like the same question I have, like what Mataji has said. Sometimes we meet some devotee has come, senior devotee has come, so they have their lectures. So we go and attend some lectures because they invite people, we go different kind of people, devotees lectures. So what we need to learn from them, sometimes they follow some other, their instructions are something else, in their lectures something else is there, and some other senior devotees lecture something else is there. So what exactly we need to learn from all these lectures, Mataji?
Well, I will need definitely specifics, but again, the bottom line being that if you're listening to any ISKCON devotee, they will tell, only one thing, is that you just associate with devotees, you do, different services like preaching, book distribution. These are the things that is stressed upon. Now, the things that are stressed more by some gurus or things that are less stressed by some gurus can always differ. But again, ISKCON is a preaching mission, So preaching is always the focal point. Sharing Krishna consciousness is always a focal point from all lectures, mostly. Now, depending on who you're listening to or what you're listening to, I would definitely need specifics. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to answer this question. But again, at the same time, therefore, it is recommended that we do not listen to too many things that get us confusing. Try to stick to the parampara of, I would say even just, have the mood. That your Guru Maharaj has a particular mood. So try to stick to that particular mood. And devotees who also are in that particular mood, then listen to them. Like I can tell you very openly that Srila Giriraj Maharaj, I listen to his lectures also, not regularly, but once in a while. And his lectures are always mostly geared towards devotee care, and he talks about lots of pastimes and his personal recollections of Srila Prabhupada. It's very, very sweet classes that Maharaj gives. He very seldom, very, very rarely he talks about preaching or he talks about, even book distribution or any other service. He talks about mostly about relationship amongst devotees. which I feel is a very, very important topic also. Now, if you listen to lectures by Srila Jayapataka Maharaj, his lectures are just pure Gaur Katha. He talks about Lord Chaitanya, he talks about Srila Prabhupada, he talks about preaching. That's all he talks about. There's nothing else that, he talks about in his lectures. Now, if you listen to lectures from Srila Radhanath Maharaj, he talks about Gauranga Mahaprabhu. The way he talks about Gauranga Mahaprabhu is that you are personally present in those leelas. You feel that you are present in those leelas. He talks about, I've very seldom heard Radhanath Maharaj talking about Srila Prabhupada, but he talks about Gauranga Mahaprabhu a lot, and he stresses a lot on Vaisnava relationships. He also talks about nurturing our own sadhana, about anartha nivritti, about how we should have the attitude of gratitude, how we should develop the qualities of humility, patience, and tolerance. So these are the things that Srila Radhanath Maharaj's basic themes of his talking is, So for me personally, I never find a contradiction or, anything other than when I listen to all three of their lectures. I find it very much in sync to what the mood of my Diksha Guru is, and it helps me follow the instructions of my Diksha Guru in a much better way, which I have not even tried listening to any other gurus. To tell you very frankly, I have not. All these years of my Krishna consciousness, I have not really heard many other gurus. I might have heard their kirtans, like Loknath Maharaj's kirtans, but I have not heard a single lecture of either Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Now, I don't want to take too many names. I know this is recording, but I have not heard many other gurus' lectures, So that doesn't mean that I do not, respect them, or I do not, want to do any service to them. No. When Loknath Maharaj visited here, or when I was in Mayapur, Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj is there, and I have been cooking for Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I've been serving Gopal Krishna Maharaj. But I have never had the opportunity. I've just heard general classes by him, but listening to him over, like from ISKCON Desire Tree or anything else, that I have not done because I have lack of time. I want to space my time out to listen to people who I get most inspired by, and it's not that Gopal Krishna Maharaj or any other Maharaj don't inspire me. They do, but it's just that I don't have the time. With the time that I have, it doesn't allow me to listen to too much. I cannot even listen every day. Also, I can't listen to even Srila Prabhupada's lectures, So that's the idea, that we need to be mindful about what our, what is the best kind of thing that, given the time and situation that we are in, that what are the services that we can best do? What are the things that we can best do, So I hope that helps in answering your question.
Absolutely, Mataji. Yes, actually, I follow only, I usually hear your lectures and sometimes Guru Maharaj quotes. Try to learn. I don't listen. I don't have a time to listen ISKCON Desire Tree. But if I want to, give some class, then I try to listen and take some points. But thank you so much, Mataji. Really, it helps me. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
And again, as I said, it doesn't mean that we are disrespecting, or, I want to again say this point, that it's not that we are disrespecting or, not giving importance to any other Maharaj's lectures. I have heard personally, when Gopal Krishna Maharaj or, any other Maharaj give class in Mayapur, I've heard them. But on a regular basis, because of lack of time, I don't have the time to listen to every other person. There are millions and millions of devotees who have given millions and millions of classes. It's impossible to hear all of them. So we need to choose our, time the time that we have, we need to choose it wisely, how we and for what we are utilizing our time, So that is something very important that we need to take that decision. And sometimes we are not able to take that decision ourselves. We should depend on some of our seniors whom we can confidentially confide in, guhyam akhyati prichyati, and they can guide us that, yes, you can, do this, do that, like that. They can help us, give us some pointers like that.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji, a general question, please accept my humble obeisances. The question I have is, Krishna, as we know, demands surrender, whereas Lord Chaitanya, without any qualification, he gives freely the holy name of the Lord. So the question I have is, if we take shelter of Lord Chaitanya and Mahaprabhu and just chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, do we actually go back to Lord Chaitanya's Leela planet, or do we actually go back to Golok Vrindavan?
Tell me this. That is a wonderful question, Prabhu. But tell me this, where is Mahaprabhu's planet located?
Shvetadvipa, right?
Yes, Shvetadvipa. Where is Shvetadvipa? It is actually said to be in the highest corner of Goloka Vrindavan. It is part of Goloka Vrindavan.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So, actually, Srila Jayapataka Maharaj, he very beautifully explained that if you are, a devotee of Lord Ramachandra, then you go to Ayodhya. If you are a devotee if you are very attracted to Krishna's childhood, pastimes and his Leela like that, then you are in, you will go to Goloka Vrindavan. But if you are attracted to Lord Chaitanya, and then Lord Chaitanya, from Shvetadvipa, he takes out his Sankirtan party and he goes out to different spiritual abodes every single day. One day he goes and visits Lord Nrsingadev, one day he goes and visits Lord Ramachandra, the next day he comes and visits Krishna, the next day he takes his devotees and visits another abode. So like this, Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan, if you are with Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan, then you are traversing all around the spiritual world with Lord Chaitanya. He takes you around. But if you are in Goloka Vrindavan, then you will stay in Goloka Vrindavan only. So Jayapataka Maharaj laughed about it and said that if you are with Lord Chaitanya, you are having best of all the spiritual worlds, because Mahaprabhu takes his Sankirtan, he takes his devotees to all the spiritual abodes every single day.
Wow, I didn't know this. Thank you, Mataji. This really hard to hear.
Yes. So that is our desire, that we go back to Mahaprabhu, to Shvetadvip, and then Mahaprabhu will take us to all the different spiritual abodes.
We can get Chappan book, we can go to all planets.
Yeah, you can go visit Lord Jagannath, one day to Lord Jagannath. He'll yeah.
Jagannath planet, Mataji. Some name is there?
It's called the Vaikuntha planet. It's one of the Vaikuntha planets. It's Lord Jagannath's abode.
Thank you, Mataji. This really answered my question.
Thank you.
It looks like it's
one of the Vaikuntha planets. Yes, sorry, Prabhu.
It looks like it's probably more easy to reach Lord Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's planet by just chanting the holy name of the Lord.
Absolutely, and this is the facility given to us only in this particular Kali Yuga. Imagine. Mahaprabhu himself has come and opened the doors to Shvetadvipa. Because Goloka Vrindavan was not accessible in any other yuga, and it's accessible only now because of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. He is the one who came from there and he opened the door. It's said that when Krishna came, he also came from Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna himself. He came in Dwapar Yuga, but when Krishna came, he closed the door behind him. He didn't keep the doors open. But Lord Chaitanya, because he had his arms raised, he didn't have time to look back and close the door. That's what his Mahaprabhu's mercy is unlimited, magnanimous mercy.
I mean, this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us that we have access to this great prema of mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Thank you for enlightening us, Mataji. You really made my day just sharing this wonderful, past.
Jai. Thank you, bro. Thank you.